Welcome to the Business SOS podcast. This is Rich Sierra, president of the Florida Small Business Legal Center. This is episode number 77 of Business SOS. Apologize for not having an episode for you last week. I was out of town. I was not able to record one, but hopefully this one will make up for it. Today I want to talk about 10 reasons why you need an outside general counsel. When I started my practice, and I've been doing this now for 20 years, I had the privilege to work with many business owners. And on occasion, they ask me, Rich, I want somebody that I can talk to when something comes up, with a situation that comes up that we're not sure about. I want to be able to call someone. I want somebody to review my contracts, someone to really that understand my business. So I developed the General Counsel program for some businesses that will want that ongoing relationship with an attorney. So if you're a small business owner, for the most part, you're not going to be able to afford to have a full-time attorney in your office. Working for you is just simply prohibitively expensive. However, if you have the ability to have someone you can call, that's something that you might consider. So I want to talk to you about 10 reasons why you might want to consider having an outside general counsel and what questions and what criteria you should have when considering one. So one of the things I want to talk about is the proactive risk management. You're going to have a lot of challenges in your business. You're going to have things that are going to come up, whether it's a lease agreement, whether issues with your landlord, whether you have an employee issue that might come up. You might have a contract dispute with a vendor or even with a client. And you want to go ahead and have that sounding board as well. And when I talk about proactive risk management, I talk about identifying your vulnerabilities as a business owner. So what do your contracts look like? So you want to have your attorney review those contracts to make sure that you're fully protected, but also that you can enforce the contract if situation arises as well. A common, mistake that I see in contracting with business owners is that they don't include their provision for attorney's fees in the case the person does not pay, or when there's a dispute, the prevailing party can collect attorney's fees from the non-prevailing party. So that's a very common mistake. So being proactive and having somebody, an attorney, review your contracts is something that will be helpful to you. Another one is insurance review. Have your attorney review those insurance policies to make sure that you have the protection that you need if the situation arises that you need to put in a claim with insurance policy. Your attorney can tell you, okay, you have the right coverage, you might need this type of policy, or perhaps refer you to an insurance professional that can give you guidance and what other availability for what other options for insurance that you may have. There's also another thing that an attorney can do is training your employees, whether it's an issue of absenteeism, any type of issue of discipline. So your attorney can also help you train your employees in different areas of the law that might be helpful to you, so you have that sounding board as well. Number two, when you have an outside general counsel, you have cost-effective expertise. Let's face it, lawyers are expensive. And having an attorney working full-time for you is just not feasible for the most part unless you're a larger company. But for the most small business owners that you see as you drive, through your road, to your home, and then you see a lot of strip malls, very seldom those small business owners have a full-time attorney working in their premises. It's just not feasible, and I think it's not necessary. I don't think that the amount of legal work that will be required for somebody full-time is not generated by a small business. At least it should not be. So by having that cost-effective expertise, you have the ability to work a flexible service schedule, a flexible payment schedule, whether it's in a monthly retainer, like the ones that we offer, or it's basically on an on-call basis, that when you need someone, okay, this is going to be the fee that I will charge you for the hour, for the time that you're calling me, but you have that sounding board. Another benefit within the cost-effective legal expertise is that you're going to avoid costly mistakes. By having the ability to make that phone call, that email, that text, at the very least, you might avoid something that may happen in the future because you'll have that sounding board. And I'm using the word sounding board repeatedly here because that is basically the benefit of having an attorney available to you to ask those questions. If you do not ask those questions to an attorney when you know you need to ask a question to an attorney, then either you go on the web and try to find the answer, or you decided to go along with it without having that answer. And that answer that you may have might be beneficial to you. And I'll give you an example. You might have space in your office or in your business that you might want to rent to somebody else to kind of subsidize your rent. And I'll give you an example of say you own a spa. You own one of those med spas that have massage, and then you want to have somebody who does waxing, for example. Okay, but you want to rent a specific space for that technician to offer the waxing services. So a question that will come up if you're the business owners, can I do that? Okay, for the most part in leases, you can't unless the landlord approves it. The landlord needs to give you consent to subleasing any space of the premises to someone else. You cannot have somebody else use the premises that you're leasing without the landlord's consent. That's a very quick question. Hey, Rich, can I have some space here? I have a room. Can I go ahead and lease that space to somebody who wants to do waxing in my salon? And the answer, is most likely no, without landlord's approval. But if you go ahead and do it anyway, then you're violating that lease. How long did that question take? Maybe 10 minutes. So that's one of the examples that I'm telling you that it's worth making that phone call to an attorney to make sure that you're doing the right thing and not inadvertently violating an agreement that you do not want to violate. Another benefit of cost-effective legal expertise is that you have scalability. As you grow, you will have different challenges. So your attorney can help you developing strategies and how to scale your business as well. So you have that sounding board as you grow with your business, your attorney grows, and the attorney also understands your business as well. Reason number 3, guidance on contract drafting and negotiation. Let's face it, as a business owner, you're going to be facing contracts for your entire journey as a business owner. It'll be leasing contracts, it will be vendor contracts, contracts that you give to employees, independent contractor agreements, employment agreements, licensing agreements for trademark. I can give you a list of contracts that you may see in your business. If you have anything, done in your premises, that you have a construction, you're going to have some build out, you're going to have construction contract. So having an attorney review those contracts for you before you sign them, I like to say that it's essential, not just recommended. I think that when those contracts are drafted by attorneys, you are at a disadvantage unless you're an attorney yourself that understands how to read these contracts. So having the ability to call someone that is your outside general counsel to, hey, listen, I got this contract from this vendor. Can you review it for me? Yeah, it'll cost you a few $100s to do that. But that attorney will be able to help you explain that contract and tell you, take a look at this, be careful with that. Do you understand what you're signing? There's automatic renewal provisions here. There's some penalties. Exactly what do you need here? What are you trying to accomplish with this contract? So having that sounding board is very, very helpful. The attorney can actually recommend changes to the contract to protect your interest. The attorney can help you negotiate some terms that may not be in your best interest and might be able to help you change those terms to make them work towards your benefit. And it's also regular reviews as well for contracts situations that come up. Another fourth reason, number four, reason to have an outside general counsel, I say compliance with regulatory support. There's some industries that are regulated that require the attorney to understand the regulations if they change. For example, construction changes significantly constantly regarding the new rules in construction, new codes. So you want to make sure that the attorney understands your business and also understands if there's any type of changes in regulations. The attorney can look them up and explain them to you and give you that support that you need to make sure that you're in compliance with those regulations. And also, if there's any type of policies you need to implement company-wide to comply with any type of regulations that change, the attorney can help you write those policies as well. Reason number 5 to have an outside general counsel is support for business growth and expansion. As your business grow, you will have new employees. The new employees may need employment agreements. It's recommended to have them. You're not required to have employment agreements, but it's recommended to have them so to make sure that they understand what is expected of them and what your obligations are as well. And as you grow, the employees will have different positions. You might have a management employee that requires a different type of contract than an employee that is simply a line employee. So your attorney can help you grow and develop those agreements and advise you in your growth as well. It can help you with assistance with licensing and permits. If you're going to expand to a new location, guess what? You're going to get a brand new lease agreement. You're going to have, if it's a different city, you have different requirements regarding zoning. You have different requirements regarding the business tax receipt, or we used to call it occupational license. So attorney can help you with those issues that most likely, if you do it yourself, it's going to take you a longer time. And as you grow, you might have a joint venture agreements. There's very common for business owners to develop partnerships and joint venture agreements. So your attorney can help you structure those deals, can help you, draft the joint venture agreement or partnership agreement if you're partnering with another business for a project or it's going to be long term. And we also, the attorney, and I'm going to go into one of the points here, the attorney can help you with intellectual property protection, IP protection. That includes trademarks, patents, and copyrights. So I'm just giving you kind of a list of all the broad subjects that most likely that you're going to be facing in your business journey. Number 6, the big one, dispute resolution and litigation management. As you know, I do a good part of my practice is litigation, and I'm always involved in some type of dispute. So having a general counsel, outside general counsel, help you to be that first line of defense, whether you want to send a demand letter to someone for a failure to pay, failure to comply, or breach of contract, or notice of breach, or you receive a letter from someone asking you to cease and desist or to do a notice of breach, especially from a law firm. Having an attorney available to you, then you can send that email and say, hey, I got this. Can you handle it? Or what should I do? It's really essential. Because the longer it passes before you reply or you start making phone calls trying to get an attorney, it's going to take you longer and it's going to be more expensive. If the attorney knows you, knows your business, knows who you are, the attorney may be able to resolve that with a phone call. Perhaps a letter, an email, or a few phone calls, and may get it resolved. But if you start from scratch with somebody who does not know you, then you're dealing with large retainers, you're talking building the relationship, so it can escalate. So the objective of having an outside general counsel, the benefit is to basically mitigate the escalation of something getting bigger than it really should be. So just another benefit that having an outside general counsel. And also, if you're involved in litigation, evaluating litigation options, whether this is something that the Outside General Counsel can handle in the context of litigation, or perhaps is somebody that has to hire another law firm to take over that portion of the case. So that's an option that you have, but having that sounding board is essential. But also one of the things that, the Outside General Counsel can do, what I do for my clients, is that when I get a demand letter, we cannot reply immediately, but we can tell the other counsel, listen, can I have 10 days to evaluate this, talk to my client, and I can give you the proper reply. The moment that an attorney is involved, the attorney is going to say, okay, that's fine. We'll talk in 10 days. So it really reduces the pressure of you having to respond, and it's never a good idea, as I mentioned before, to respond to a demand letter that you receive from an attorney that for you to reply to that letter. You have an attorney reply to an attorney letter. You should not do it, and I want to stress that today. Another thing that we can do in the context of litigation is minimize disruptions. If you're busy enough running your own business. So the last thing you want to do is to be involved in solving a dispute directly with an attorney who's threatening to sue you or is asking you for money, or making claims that are not true, or making claims that you certainly can prove that are not true. An attorney can handle that for you, and you can continue running your business. So you want to minimize disruptions and distractions in your business for a legal matter. Have an attorney handle it for you. And I'm going to go back, number 7. I mentioned this before, and it's intellectual property protection. You have a brand you want to protect, whether it's you have registered trademark. If it's not registered, it can be a common law trademark. You have a brand that you want to protect, so the attorney can help you protect your brand, protect your intellectual property, including copyrights, your documents, your any type of information that you use for your business, and also your trade secrets as well, your customer list, your patents, your anything that you do to create the formula for your business, that secret sauce as we call it. The attorney can help you protect that. You can hire different attorneys for different things, and the Outside General Counsel, if necessary, if he or she feels that it might be necessary or advisable to bring somebody in with expertise in certain areas, the attorney will call somebody to help out for a specific purpose. But for the most part, the Outside General Counsel can help you, advise you on how to do this. Reason number 8 to have an Outside General Counsel, employment law compliance and employee disputes. If you have employees, you have to comply with federal and state law. You have to do that. And one common mistake that I see business owners make is that they have employees, quote unquote, but they pay them as independent contractors. They just pay them 1099. They don't take, unemployment. They don't pay federal taxes. They don't pay unemployment taxes to the state. But they worked them full time because the employee said, pay me as an independent contractor, so I pay the taxes myself. That's one mistake that is done, and this is one of the mistakes that is very common, which I advise clients not to do. It can be very, very costly. The employee does not have a choice how he or she is going to be classified. The classification is based on how the work is done or the type of hours that they pay, and I went over that in a prior episode as to the classification of employees in the new Department of Labor rule about classifying independent contractors, which is very, very light, meaning that when you're in doubt, most likely they're not going to be an employee. That's going to be basically, I'm just giving you kind of a broad stroke here, but if you have somebody working for you 20 hours a week, You provide the place to work. You provide the computers. You provide you require them to work specific hours. You provide uniforms. They're an employee. They're an independent contractor. So, and that's just one of the examples of how not failing to comply can really be costly. So employment compliance is important. Uh, Drafting employment agreements, that's something that outside general counsel can do or should do. Advice on HR policies. We wear many hats. So as a business owners, we need to have familiarity with different types of law, including employment laws. If it's something very specialized, we can always refer it out. But for the most part, for the typical type of HR issues that come up that are legal issues, an outside general counsel should be able to handle. Also, maybe workplace disputes. I get calls often. Say, Rich, this happened with this employee. Can I terminate the employee? And we go into that discussion. So having that attorney be able to advise you in those issues is very important. Another reason within number 8, employment law compliance and employee disputes, is that if you need to bring independent contractor agreements and independent contractors to your company, you want to have an independent contractor agreement drafted, and also to make sure that whoever you're bringing in truly is classified as an independent contractor. And an attorney, a general counsel, can help you with that as well. Reason number 9, called this one crisis management and risk mitigation. And I went over risk mitigation early on. There's sometimes things happen in your business that requires an attorney to get involved. It could be a situation that somebody fell on the premises. There was some type of dispute. There was some type of accident, something that happened that maybe the media got involved. So an attorney can help you develop a plan of response plans and perhaps be the face in the case something happens to the media. So crisis management is important in reference to something, an emergency happening in your business. One of the things that you also have when you have an emergency in your business, you have an immediate legal assistance, what I call real-time advice. It is essential for you to have the ability to call someone if something happens in the short term. Attorneys are busy. So if you have a situation in your business that you need an attorney today, but you don't have a relationship with an attorney, you don't know anyone that you can call, then what's going to happen, you need to go online, you need to start making phone calls. If you're not part of the client list of that client, then you got to be onboarded, with that attorney, and then you got to be able to pay a retainer. Then you have to, by the time that you actually go through the process, you no longer need the attorney because the emergency already passed, or you figure out how to resolve it yourself, or it just didn't get resolved. But having that immediacy, having the ability to know somebody that you can talk to, even though the attorney can get back to you sometime during the day, a few hours, if it's a real emergency, there's always ways for the attorney to try to reach out to you or call his or her office. But having the ability to make that phone call, it can save your business. It can save you a lot of headaches in the future. So that's another benefit to have an outside general counsel for your business. And also managing settlement agreements. This is still a number 9. There are situations that things are handled and things are settled. In fact, most business disputes are settled. That very seldom they go to trial. And you have heard me say this before. And for a number of reasons. The business owners do not like business disputes. They like to run their businesses. So if you're in a situation that things get settled, which most of them do, the attorney will be responsible for managing the settlement agreement. Whatever terms that were agreed upon, the attorney will go ahead and make sure that all those terms are complied with and the matter is solved and closed. So we can move on. So managing settlements are very important. And if you're in a situation that you enter into a settlement agreement with anyone, I highly recommend that you hire an attorney. Do not do it on your own. Just hire an attorney. That's your best bet because the attorney will make sure that the settlement agreement is drafted correctly. Number one. Number two, that the terms are complied with. And number three, the matter is closed. I have cases sometimes that people draft their own agreements and somebody does not comply. And then they call my office and say, listen, I had this dispute with this individual, supposed to pay me some money. I have not received the funds. I need somebody to sue them. I look at the agreement, and the agreement is poorly drafted. Sometimes there are ambiguities. Sometimes they're only the corporation's name. The corporation is closed. Then there's no personal guarantee and performance. I can go on and on. So if you're in a situation that even if you have a tentative agreement with another party or parties, that agreement is looked at by an attorney to make sure that you're protected. And Outside General Counsel can help you with that. Number 10, business succession and exit planning. As the business grows, or as you decide at some point you want to retire, you no longer want to continue the business, you have a number of options. You can sell the business. You can close the business. Okay. You can pass it on to your children or to a relative or to a friend. So succession planning is something that every business should have, and your attorney can help you develop strategies and how to do that. And also, once you make that decision, even if you decide to close the business, the attorney can help you close that business in such a way that you don't have personal liability. So how you decide to exit the business, there are a number of different options. You can merge with another company as well. But the attorney can help you craft a strategy for those options as well. And you have a outside general counsel, that an attorney that has been with you for, say, 10 years. That attorney understands you, understands your business, understands who you are, because you build that relationship. And that takes time. You know, we cannot accelerate time. It is what it is. So by having that relationship with that attorney, it will help you, help the attorney understand you, but also understand the attorney as well, and how the advice is given and how the attorney is able to assist you and develop the strategies. Yeah, I think I mentioned these, creating succession plan, structuring buy-sell agreements, and assisting mergers and acquisitions. Just a couple of additional points in terms of tips on what to look for selecting an outside general counsel. I think, obviously, you know, the obvious is somebody who understands business in general. I think it's important if you're going to hire a business attorney for your business, but also somebody who understands your business, that understands you, understands what you do, understands how your revenue is generated, understand the challenges that you will be facing in your business, and has, you know, that you can establish that rapport and that level of confidence to share some of those things that bother you, to be able to provide you the proper advice. I think a flexible service model is important, that the attorney craft the agreement that you will have with that attorney based on your needs. How many hours a week you're anticipating? Are you looking something, you know, on an on-call basis, or you want something more on a regular basis? You want a monthly meeting? You want a 2-week call, check-in call? You want documents reviewed? So the program that is developed for you, that is customized to your needs, and as your business changes and it grows, the program can be changed as well, because you will have greater legal needs. And last but not least is building a strong relationship with that attorney. The attorney is going to become, I don't want to say the partner of your business, but it's going to be part of your team of advisors. You have your CPA, your accounting firm. In the financial end, you're going to have your attorney, your legal end. So a strong working relationship is very important for this to work, to be successful. And the attorney has to have an interest in what you do and understanding of what you do. Otherwise, it's going to be very transactional, and it's going to be difficult to provide you the right advice. So as you develop this relationship, as you look for an outside general counsel, there's some of the things you can ask for. So this is good for today. Again, if you're interested in our legal services, including providing outside general counsel, my website is floridasmallbusinesslegalcenter.com. You can call us at 866-842-5202. If you want to reach me, my website is, my email is rich, R-I-C-H, at richsierra.com. Again, it's R-I-C-H, at richsierra.com. If you want to learn more about my book, Business SOS, 8 Common Legal Mistakes Business Owners Make and How to Avoid Them, it's available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble. You can ask for your local bookstores. If you like our podcast, please share it with your friends. Appreciate you write a review. Give us a 5-star review. We're available on Apple Podcast, Spotify, wherever you enjoy your shows. Until next week, this is Rich Sierra with the Florida Small Business Legal Center. And remember that my goal is to help you succeed.